Let's take a look at how non-billable events are scheduled. First, the default view for the calendar will be the month view. You can toggle this to week, work week, or day if you find it easier to schedule in a view other than month. Once your preferred view is set, click on a day to schedule the event. Your name will auto-populate as the caregiver based on your login. If you are scheduling for someone other than yourself, open the drop-down and change the name. Remember, you will only see employees that are in the cost centers you are assigned to in the security setup. You can always verify those cost centers by going to Options and selecting Cost Centers. You will then set the scheduled event as either billable or non-billable. If the event is specific to a client and a service, it is considered billable. If the event has nothing to do with the client or service and is specific to the employee, such as staff trainings or administrative time, it will be non-billable. This video will only go through the steps of scheduling non-billable events. You will then select the pay type that best reflects the type of event that you are scheduling. The pay type description is what will be visible on the calendar once you save. If you do not see any pay types or feel that you need an additional one to better reflect your time, the pay types are added under the employee file in the employee's desktop. Contact your supervisor if you do not have access to employees. Be mindful of the cost centers linked to each pay type. If you work in multiple cost centers, you will want to be sure to select the correct pay type based on where the time is being provided. If the pay type selected is an hourly pay type, you will be asked to enter in the start time and end time, as in this example, when training is selected. The date will auto-populate based on your selection from the calendar. Key in the time, including your AMs and PMs. There will be no need to key in the units nor amount field, as the fields are locked down for hourly pay types. If the pay type you selected is configured as a reimbursement pay type, such as travel, you will see that the time fields go away and the only fields to key are the date and the amount. Again, your date populates based on your selection from the calendar, and the amount will reflect the amount of money to be reimbursed for that event. A mileage pay type is usually the only one that requires a unit entry so that you can indicate the amount of miles to be reimbursed. You will have the option of attaching your event to a status. The status is just a way of color coding events so that you can group alike events in a meaningful way. You can then search and view all events with that status. For example, if I link this event to the status of unavailable, I can then select to see all events that are linked to that status. The status list is built under the Configure desktop. You may choose to flag the time as indirect, but that is typically only meaningful when scheduling billable events. Indirect indicates that the event will not be face-to-face with the client. You can also choose to flag the time as out of community, which means that the event will be performed in the office. Again, this is typically only meaningful when scheduling billable events. Additionally, you may choose to hold bill or hold pay the event, but since this is a non-billable record, there is probably no need to mark as hold bill. If you mark as hold pay, you are preventing the time from being pulled into payroll. Lastly, you may choose to enter in a comment that further finds the details of the event. The comments are shown in tooltips on the calendar, and they are also printed on the schedule report. You now have the option to save this single event or to build a reoccurrence pattern. That is beneficial when the events need to be consistently displayed on the calendar over a period of time. To build the reoccurrence, simply enter in the to date, select the days of the week, and set the frequency pattern. After hitting save, this will drop the event to every date on the calendar specified in the reoccurrence pattern. To view the calendars, use your filters on the left. The Show All checkbox will display all scheduled events for the clients and caregivers in your specified cost centers. You may limit what you see by selecting the individual caregiver or keying in multiple caregivers, and likewise in each cost center, client, and service filter. And again, you may also select a status to display all events linked to that particular status. Once you see the events on your calendar, you can open up any individual event by double-clicking on it. You can make any edits necessary or choose to send a task. You may also delete the event if it is no longer applicable. Lastly, you may print the desired calendars by clicking on the Export button and entering in a date range. The report may then be printed or exported into a preferred file type. For any questions, please submit your inquiries to our support department by going to Options, Support, Contact Support, and entering in the nature of your question. Once you have completed all the fields, please click Submit.